Hello everybody, it's Donna here from Embrace the Moon Tarot, and I am just going to make this a very quick intro and say that I'm really sorry that I haven't been doing the Tarotscopes lately, but all the feelings and the energy that has been available, I've been feeling all of them. Or at least I feel like I have been. So I've been kind of making myself a little bit of a hermit, but let's see if I can get back into the swing of these and start with February's reading. So let's begin. Hello Libras, and welcome to Embrace the Moon Tarot and your February 2018 reading. And I got this overall sense as I was shuffling and preparing for this reading that there has been a bit of an imbalance and upheaval that you've experienced, and it's not so much that there was a key event as much as there was just a culmination. Some big, some small, some drawn out, some very tiny in time frame, but it's just been one thing after the other, and as a result of it, you've just kind of gotten to a point where you feel a bit imbalanced as a result of it. And so mentally, you're starting to feel worn down, and that's what we have in the mental part here. I have the 4 core spaces, the 4 elements of the 4 sides of our universe: mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. And in the mental, we have the Sun card in reverse, and it's just kind of tapping into the energy of feeling blocked. That's the word that comes to mind, is blocked. It's not the word that comes to mind with the Sun specifically, but for you in this particular reading, blocked feels like it is the best word. So someone's casting a shade. It's like almost being forced to stand underneath a tree on the opposite side. So you know the sun is shining out there, you can see the light from it, you can almost feel the heat from it, but you're not actually at a place where you can experience it. The light's not shining specifically on you. The heat and the warmth isn't shining specifically on you and warming you up. So there's a bit of a blockage as a result of it. So mentally, you're just kind of consumed with the culmination of these events that have just kind of helped you feel like the world in general. And I don't feel like this is so much your world as much as the world in general. Some of it's, obviously personal, but I feel like when you take a step back and you ponder this, you start thinking, not only is this happening in my life, but I feel like the whole damn world's going crazy. So it just, as a result of it, like I said, I feel like for whatever reason, it's almost like someone put you on behind a tree and you're just on the opposite side. So you know the sun's out there, but for whatever reason, you don't get to experience it, and you're starting to feel quite frustrated about it. And this is kind of the overall energy mentally that you're going to have to work through as you progress through February. And the truth is that when the energy kind of consumes you, when you get to where you are a bit overwhelmed, just take a breather, take a moment to breathe, and don't focus too much on how the sun's not shining on you. Focus on the fact that the sun is still shining. Take a moment to realize that the sun's still out there. It's still making you warm, even if it's not actually kissing your skin kind of energy. And try not to allow it to bog you down too much, so that you can kind of tap into a little bit of that positive energy that still exists. And sometimes we get so consumed with media, and whether it be news media or social media, and we just almost get overwhelmed with sometimes what feels like negative post after negative post, or negative story, or negative blog, or negative news story after the other. And it's so hard to not feel bogged down as a result of it, and then just wonder, is it ever going to change? Is the sun ever going to come out? And the truth is, for whatever reason, a lot of those sources just focus on the negative, even when they're trying to spin it positively. It's almost like the foundation is from a negative viewpoint. So it's really hard. And I feel like you're just being told to, when you feel like you're being bogged down, when you feel that you have that shadow being cast on you, do whatever it takes to step out of that shadow. If you have to unplug for a while, if you have to actually take a step to the left so you can be in the sunshine, do that. I mean, obviously this is all metaphorical, but on a mental viewpoint, do what it takes to kind of take a step and be within the sun, even if it's for a little time period. Break out of the shadow, break out of that negative influence that comes, and even if it's your own thoughts or if it's influence from these other sources, just take the time to take a breath and take a step to unplug from the shadows so that you can feel some of the warmth of the sun. And this is just letting you know that even when you have the moments where you feel like the sun is blocked, when you feel like the sun card is in reverse, you can actively participate in trying to find ways to reverse that, to revert it, to step out of the shadows into the sunlight. And if that's what you need to get through, then that's what you need to do. Physically, we have the Wheel of Fortune, and I feel that this is just referencing not just your personal world, which is family and home and career and community, but the world at large. I feel that that theme or that concept of, the feeling like the whole world's crazy gets kind of overwhelming. And for the most part, it's just one of those things where you have to recognize that everybody has free will and you can't control other people. So that means you can't control the world, if that makes sense. So you have to just participate in it from the position that you are in and just recognize that it's going the way that it's going to go as a result of people having free will. But as long as you are doing your part, you can shine the light that you need to shine to light up your world, and hopefully you'll influence the people who are in your world and inspire them and aspire them to shine their own light so that they will shine their lights in their world, and then they can influence and inspire and aspire people who will shine their lights and influence all the people in their world. And then you just have this kind of quirky pyramid scheme, but in a good way, because it's everybody shining brightness. And hopefully as a result of that, we can impact the world. But as a whole, you just have to recognize that people have free will. And as a result of people having free will, there are people out there who do not make the choices that we wish that we could, but we can't influence them sometimes. We can't force them to make a specific change, even though we may know that the results are going to be better for all. And we just have to know that everything's going to just happen in the vibrations and the energy as it's supposed to unfold. And we just have to focus on doing what we're supposed to do and be where we're supposed to be so that we can hopefully influence and make the positive impact that will just grow and grow and grow. And I hope that makes sense. And it feels like it's a bit cheesy, but that's all we have is today, and the only thing we have control over is ourselves. So that's your focus, to help influence the world from a smaller scale so that it'll influence the world on a larger scale. Emotionally, we have Queen of Cups. I feel that there's some relationships that have been kind of heavier emotionally than you would like. So some of the connections that you'd had prior, somewhere in January, it got kind of heavy. I don't feel that there was, I just feel that there was just, it went to a depth and in a direction that you weren't anticipating. Like you were kind of broadsided by this, you weren't expected. So this feels very much a specific relationship. And some of you, it is actually relationship as far as a couple standpoint. And some of you is relationship as like a close friend. But whoever it is, there kind of came a climax in January where it went deeper emotionally, not only at a level you weren't expected, but in a direction you weren't expected. And so you've had to deal with that coming into February. So you kind of had to take a step back and you needed to take a breath. You needed to since you were submerged in the depth and direction of this water, you kind of had to swim in a different direction so you could come up for air and kind of ponder the direction and the depth and how you felt about it and what you wanted to do with this. And I feel that this is something that is going to be really heavy in the beginning of February, but as you progress through February, you're going to feel that you have insight in what direction that you want to go and how you want to feed and nurture this relationship so that it'll go in whatever direction. But you will have the opportunity to do that. You'll have the opportunity to nurture this in a direction that you choose. And it comes down to you choosing to what depth that you want to take this and how you want to meet this relationship, where you want to meet it and where you want to take it, how you want to feed and nurture it so that it'll grow in what direction you want to go. Or not, if you so choose that you don't. Like, that's a choice that you are going to have fully available to you. And you're going to feel heavy at first because of the depth and intensity of the emotion, but as you come to clarity towards about mid-February or later, you're going to feel a sense of self-love as a result of the choice that you feel very solid about making, whatever that may be. And then we have spiritually the Seven of Wands. And so there has been a lot of things that's kind of been happening spiritually, some connections that have been made, and I feel that there has been some struggle just because of everything that has been happening. Not struggle so much as losing faith as much as struggle because of just being tired. Tired of waiting for something to happen. Tired of waiting for that aha, hallelujah moment. Just tired of feeling like you're working and working and working spiritually, but not getting like the payback or the return in energy that you're putting out. And so you're just being told to just keep fighting the good fight. Keep shining your light. Keep believing. Keep having faith. Don't lose hope. Yes, you're probably still going to have to take a stand and fight a little bit longer, but you don't even have to be told. You already know that, and you'll be happier for the connections that you'll make, and for the strength that you'll gain from persevering. So I feel like I'm not telling you something that you don't already know. I'm just kind of reminding you so that it gives you that personal boost and validation that you need to remember for yourself. Because again, I feel like you already know this. It's just nice to be told, have it reiterated and validated. So I'm going to go ahead and pull another card. And this is kind of going to be a bit of a summary or a mantra for you to carry with you for the rest of the month, if you so choose to carry it with you. Encouragement, support, whatever. Let's see what I can get for you. Okay, I have two cards and I feel like they feed each other. The first card is pleasure. And the second card is connection to earthly possessions. So obviously in the spiritual world, we often kind of have this mantra or attitude of transcending earthly material possessions. But the truth is, we are having an earth experience. Therefore, we're supposed to be experiencing pleasures here on earth. And I feel that you are going to be able to tap into some of that rebooting of energy, rebooting of faith and hope, if you kind of connect on a very earthly, pleasurable way. So those little things or big things that make you feel good, make you feel sensual, sexual, connected. I feel that this is very sexual for a lot of you. But whatever that may be, tap into that to give you that boost so that you are reminded that the sun still shines and you are allowed to feel it. That sometimes when the world is going in whatever direction it can or wants to and we don't have control, it's okay. We can still take joy and pleasure in the life that's around us. And even when we take great depths emotionally, it doesn't mean that it has to be heavy-hearted. Sometimes it can be pleasurable as a result of it. And by allowing ourselves to connect this way, sometimes it does take some of the pressure of having to feel like we have to perform a specific way spiritually to have all the ducks in a row and to ensure that we are going to transcend on a spiritual level that's superior than anybody has ever experienced. Sometimes that's just too much pressure, and we need to be enjoying a bit of the pleasure so that we are experiencing this earth walk, this earth experience, to feed and nurture our soul. And by feeding and nurturing our soul in that way, our soul can then feed and nurture our earth walk. All right, Libra, that is all I have for you. I hope you find time to find pleasurable moments as you go through February, especially when you start feeling kind of dogged by the overturned sun and shadows and what have you. Don't let it get too much into your head and bog you down too much. Tap into those things that bring you great joy and pleasure at whatever level that may be, sexual or otherwise. And hopefully you'll have a fabulous February, and hopefully I will see you next month.